All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Friday, January 17th, 2020. Big news in the world of entertainment today. Surprise Eminem album paying tribute to Alfred Hitchcock. Music to be murdered by. And a few different things we're going to talk about with this album. The relationship with Alfred Hitchcock and today's release date, and why it matters that Alfred Hitchcock's Music to be Murdered By came out in the year 1958. Today has 58 date numerology. Very special number to the ones they call they, who are the secret societies of the world who control things such as the recording industry. So we're going to talk about Eminem and Alfred Hitchcock. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about Eminem, Mac Miller, Ariana Grande, and the Manchester bombing, because today Mac Miller's Circles came out, which has been overshadowed by Eminem's album. And of course, when Mac Miller died, there were parallels drawn to Ariana Grande. And now Eminem is being criticized in this album for lyrics about the Manchester bombing, just like how once upon a time he was criticized for lyrics about the Columbine shooting. So this is deja vu 20 years later. I wish I knew 20 years ago what I know now. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. The code that they work by, the secret societies, the Masonic language of letters and numbers, which is Gematria, which comes from Kabbalah. In this study, 38 is one of the most special numbers. And the official release date for this album is January 17th. From what I understand, though, you were able to download it late last night, January 16th, but they're still saying that today's the official release date, and that makes sense. Because today has 38 date numerology, and the word murder equals 38. We're always talking about murder in 38. This is in tribute to Alfred Hitchcock's 1958 album, Hitchcock equals 163, the 38th prime. We were just talking about this with the death of Neil Peart last week. 38 and 163, we talk about it a lot. And with regards to this coming on the release of Mac Miller's latest album, remember the last album that Mac Miller released before his death was on August 3rd. A date that can be written 3-8 or 8-3. And before we go any further, let's again revisit the Murder by Numbers movie poster. Again, the album released today has murder in the title. The movie poster for Murder by Numbers, only two letters are changed to numbers. The E to the 3 and the B to the 8. 3883. Murder has gematria of 38 and 83. Years ago, 1983, the song by The Police, Murder by Numbers, came out. Again in 83. Look up the lyrics to this song, Murder by Numbers, The Police. It's about how killing's the sport of the elite. It's as simple as A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Again, Sandra Bullock, her name on the movie poster for Murder by Numbers, 83. Words such as killing, death, R.I.P., all 38. Another song to look up, Gematria, the killing name. Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words. That's by the band Slipknot. The first member of that band to die died at age 38, and definitely not by accident. So many people have died by this number in history. The two biggest deaths in the history of hip-hop, Tupac Shakur, Notorious B.I.G., both dead on dates with 38 numerology, and there's so many other names to add to that list. But again, two of the most infamous deaths in hip-hop, 38 date numerology. Again, Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. English, also 38. Gematria comes from Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism. In Kabbalah's Book of Formation, it stated God made the world with letters, numbers, and words. It's a Jewish practice. Jew 38, Kabbalah 38, English 38, Gematria 38, Rip 38, death, killing, again, murder. So understand the official release date on this 38 date numerology parallels to Mac Miller, who again released his last album on August 3rd, a date that's written 3-8 in the majority of the world. You know, another big story last year in the world of hip-hop that was another 38, YNW Melly. There was a lot to this story, but he released the song Murder on My Mind on August 3rd, 2018. So again, there's so many more examples to build onto this, but I hope I've made the point here about the significance of 38 and the release date today with the 38 numerology. Today also has 58 date numerologies we'll get to, like how the Hitchcock album came out in 1958. So here's the official release date, January 17, 2020, Music to be Murdered By, Shady Aftermath, Interscope. In light of it being the 17th of the month, don't forget that the words kill and rap equal 17. And by the way, the word rapper is also 38. What's that song that was popular a couple summers ago? The rapper at the beginning says 1738 to start the song. It's not an accident that he's saying 1738. This cipher right here, just in case you're new here, there are 4 base ciphers, but one is more important than all others. And that's this dark blue cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. That's where kill is 17, rap is 17, rapper is 38. I can't remember that guy's song or his name. I just know he starts with the number 1738. Also, notice they made this album 64 minutes long. This is the album we're talking about, the Eminem album today, Music to be Murdered By, 64 minutes and 22 seconds. The word kill with the reverse alphabetic order is 64. Again, he's being criticized for his lyrics about the Manchester bombing in Manchester Arena. And you know what? I'm just going to say this right now. For anyone complaining about this, I mean, you really need to become a better investigator in the information age. It was viral. It was viral after the Manchester bombing. Myself and a million other people put it out. It's why our channels were taken down in 2017. Again, I'm on my 20th channel since June of 2017. But it was viral that it was a hoax, the Manchester bombing. So many people uploaded the cell phone footage of what was going on in there when they said a bombing was going on. Nothing. Just something over the PA system telling people that something had come up. They were all safe. Calmly exit the building. You are safe. Sorry, the show has to end early. Please exit safely. There is no danger. How can they be running this on the PA over and over? And again, the videos that were uploaded were minutes long, so you could hear the same message repeat several times. People going, what's going on? Just walking out of the stadium. Meanwhile, the mainstream headlines are that a bombing just killed all these people in the stadium. Those two things cannot happen. Impossible. And also, they had just done the bombing drill at the location, and they had to apologize for having the guy playing the part of the terrorist, yelling out Allahu Akbar in the drill at the same location. Again, the whole thing was a complete hoax. There was no bombing at Manchester Arena. Just like how there was probably not a real school shooting at Columbine, because again, they even put out that video surveillance, and you saw all these government employees walking around the school while the shooting's supposedly going on in khakis and white t-shirts with clipboards. I mean, hello, people. Do some investigating in the information age. We're being lied to about a lot of things. And it's all done by this code, by the way. Did a ton of work on the Manchester bombing, which was swept down the memory hole by Google. But anyway, coming back to this. Again, 17th of the month, on the same day the Mac Miller album comes out, Circles. Notice Mac has that Gematria of 17 and 64 as well. Again, he was dating Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande at the Manchester bombing hoax. Eminem being criticized for this on this day of the Mac Miller album. The Rituals. So, I just had to measure from the Manchester bombing hoax, and this made me sad. I'm like, God, that was almost 1,000 days ago. They've been deleting my channels for 1,000 days. But anyway, notice it was 970 days. Remember what day Mac Miller died last year, 2009? Or wait, God, I'm losing track of time. That was 2018 already that he died, wasn't it? Yeah, it wasn't 2019. Man, time's flying. But he died on September 7th, 2018, 9/7. Death 97. We'll get to all that. So just the 970, a lot like 97, like the date he died. And then from Eminem's birthday, notice he's 47 years old, that magic number. From his birthday to today is 93 days. His birth name's Marshall Mathers, 93. Ariana Grande, he's being, drawn to with the headlines that are out. Ariana Grande, because he says something about Ariana Grande and the Manchester bombing. I haven't heard the actual lyrics myself yet, but the headlines are all out there. The criticism's all out there. The false rage is already out there. Are we in the age of just like everybody just wants to be so offended about everything? Everything's just so offensive. You know, you get enough trolls to flag your video's taken down for offending people. It's like we're rewarding losers. We're rewarding the squeaky hinge on the door. What do they say? What's that phrase? Squeaky wheel gets the grease? Anyway, 93rd day of Eminem's birthday. Marshall Mathers, 93. Ariana Grande, 93. By the way, she was born in 93. And remember, Eminem's 47 right now. 93 is the number that represents Saturn. Saturn's the keeper of time. And Saturn's also connected to death and judgment. Again, the Grim Reaper, his scythe. That whole concept comes from the astrological symbol for Saturn, which is, in part, the scythe. So Saturn connected to death and judgment. And, you know, an album about being murdered, it fits right in. 93-47, they come together a lot. Now check this out. Eminem pays homage to Alfred Hitchcock with Murdered. You see how they just emphasize the murdered here in the Variety article? Again, when the media just emphasizes a word, they're trying to communicate something. Murdered has that 47 too, like Eminem's 47. But Murdered album cover and title. The surprise release also includes audio excerpts of Hitchcock's comedic monologues from 1958. Today has 58 date numerology. Again, Freemasonry, Rosicrucian, Secret Society, all equal 58. In the most pure cipher, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse with numerology, Mac Miller's 58. His album came out today. When you write out the word they, just using the alphabetic order, T's the 20th letter, H is the 8th, E's the 5th, Y's the 25th. 20 plus 8 plus 5 plus 25 is 58. Who are they? This is who they are. On the Masonic compass, it's set at 47 degrees in tribute to the 47th problem of Euclid, which is about foundation. The word foundation is 47. It's why this nation's birthday is the 4th day of the 7th month. Time is the foundation of all things. Now, Alfred Hitchcock's dead, but if he were alive, from his birthday to the release of this album is 157 days. And again, there's this piece with Mac Miller. Mac Miller's 157, who went out by this code. You know, music to get murdered by. Mac Miller, in his music, foreshadowed his death like so many other musicians who have died have, including Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac. Notorious B.I.G.'s his first studio album was Ready to Die, and then his next album was Life After Death, and then, of course, Tupac, on so many different records, rapped about, you know, his premature passing. And so have many other artists since. It's a trend. Death sells. Are these people even really dead is the million-dollar question. But from Alfred Hitchcock's birthday to this, 157 days. Again, Mac Miller's album comes out today too, which has been overshadowed by Eminem. You see how it says, but not including up here? If you include the span of days, it becomes 158 days. Freemasonry is also 158 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. And something cool about Hitchcock, again, in the most pure cipher, Hitchcock equals 44. Earlier we talked about the 163, the 38th prime. But this 44 is interesting because, again, that's the kill number. Kill's 44. And if you look up Hitchcock, he made 44 films with sound. Music to be murdered by, sound, kill, numbers. Anyhow, I've often said that Gematria is like the invisible music behind the language. You know, it's like rhythm, numbers, energy, frequency. So here was the Marshall Mathers tweet. He put it out last night. So that's why I'm like, okay, it looks like you, because he says, it's your funeral, music to be murdered by, out now. Unless what's going on is I'm seeing it as 9:05 p.m. because I'm on the West Coast, and it was really tweeted at just after midnight on January 17th, because that's how Twitter works. The timestamps are all time zone relevant. I'm on the West Coast, so maybe this was actually January 17th, 5 minutes into the day. I don't know, but the official release is January 17th. Okay, so what else do we have here? I got to go back. I haven't talked about... I forget the numbers off the top of my head. I got to go back and look at the death. I think it was Obi Trice. It was one of the people connected to Eminem who died by the numbers years ago. understand, I didn't go pick these tweets off of Twitter. These are things that were put in CNN's article. So they have this person, Jolie, and she writes, Eminem really just referenced the Manchester bombing where 22 people were killed? So it's like, I mean, this is probably just a made-up tweet by some mainstream person they can throw in the article, but this is also how a lot of mainstream morons are. It's like, okay, Jolie, do you know who Eminem is? He's Mr. Controversy. He's been doing this for 20 years, bimbo. And also, bimbo, it was a hoax. Pull your fucking head out of your ass. May 22nd, 22 dead. By the way, the word murder with the alphabetic order is 79, the 22nd prime. But the whole thing is a fucking hoax, and if you don't know better, wake the fuck up. I mean, everybody can prove that the Manchester bombing was a hoax because of all the video footage released on the web, which all the mainstream platforms, you know, have done a good job of erasing. But still, it was all out there. It was shown multiple times by people such as myself. Complete hoax. 100%. Zero doubt about it, because you had video evidence to see what was going on in the stadium while they were reporting the supposed tragedy that never happened. What else did this bimbo write? How disgusting. It's time to cancel this trash. And young M.A. for thinking... God, I hate people like this. You know, it's probably a made-up AI. But for the bimbo, let's go back 20 years. Eminem's song, I'm Back. Must have never heard these lyrics, Jolie. I take 7 kids from Columbine, stand them all in line. You know, remember this? He got a lot of flack for this at the time. Add an AK-47, a revolver, a 9. He even has a Mac in there. It's not the same as Mac Miller, but a Mac 11 and an ought to solve the problem of mine, and that's a whole school of bullies shot him all at one time. And then it goes into the chorus, because he's shady. So, I mean, this is Eminem's whole career. I mean, the difference is 20 years ago, everything was way better. Music was way better. Sports, even though they were rigged, were way better because they were way less bullshit. Like, for example, people actually played defense. People could actually close out a ball game. Teams didn't give up 25-point leads in the second half in the Super Bowl. You know, they just got to make everything just more bullshit with time. It's just like everything, they have to make everything fucking worse with each passing year. And bimbos like Jolie, which whether it's an AI or not, represents about at least 75% of the population. They just go right along with it, contributing to the shitstorm. Okay. So, and then I guess they started this hashtag party, Eminem is over party. These tweets are all January 16th. So, from his birthday to January 16th was 92 days. Eminem is over party is 92. Is that an accident? Probably not. Probably not. Master numerology 11. Also interesting, Eminem's birthday, again, it's October 17th. He'll turn 48 this year, assuming he makes it. Be something if we get a Eminem is dead story by the numbers. Again, I think it's going to be a bad year for musicians, especially rock stars. I mean, technically he's a rapper. Again, I've been saying it since the beginning of the year. Rock equals 20. Death equals 20. On the day they come out with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, January 15th, The Rock's father dies. And that was a date with 20 numerology. And then the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is on May 2nd, The Rock's birthday. The Rock's also 47 years old right now. Rock equals 47, so does Pop. Eminem's become kind of a pop star in more recent times. But anyway, his birthday, October 17th. Shout out, I didn't even catch this. A caller actually called me right before I started this video, and he's like, hey, are you going to do something on Eminem? I said, well, I'm about to fire up a live stream right now. And he's like, well, hey, I want to share something I noticed. He said it's a leap year, so Eminem's birthday is on the 291st day of the year, and his album, Music to Be Murdered By, equals 291. And I was like, nice, that's a great catch. I didn't even see that, so shout out to the person who figured that out. And what I did know, though, is leap year equals 88, 83, and 38, like Murder's 83 and 38. So good year, a leap year, to put out an album such as this. And we hit most of the stones there. So again, we talked about YNW Melly, who was involved in a big numerical ritual last year. He put out Murder on My Mind on August 3rd, a date that could be written 8-3 or 3-8, just like the Mac Miller album released on that day, actually, August 3rd, 2018. Talked about Murder by Numbers poster, and apparently I have that up there twice. So, with regards to Mac Miller's new album, I put out a video about this a week ago on the channel that got deleted since. I think I re-uploaded it to this channel as well. But Mac Miller's new album was finished by this musician, John Bryan, whose name equals 97, like how Mac Miller died on September 7th, 97. And what's interesting is from John Bryan's birthday, December 11th, to the release of the Mac Miller album today is his 38th day of his age. Also 1 month and 7 days on the 17th. And again, death is 38 and 97. And they said Mac Miller died mostly from a fentanyl overdose. Fentanyl has that gematria of 97 and 38 as well. Just knows how John Bryan syncs up with fentanyl in the 4-base ciphers. John Bryan's also got that 47 in it, which always shows up. But this stuff is just such a web. Mac Miller's 58. Again, his album comes out today, the 58 date. 38 date, his last album on August 3rd. He's dead now. From his death to the release of this album today, and also Eminem's album, is 71 weeks. 71 weeks, which is the 20th prime number. Again, death's 20, so was rock. I think it's going to be the number of the year with musicians. And, let's see. Oh yeah, let us not forget that the day he died, September 7th, can also be written 7/9 like 79. Murder 79. 79 is the 22nd prime. Remember, Tupac was shot September 7th, 96, 22 years to the day. On this same day, the same day that Mac Miller died, that's the same day that the story came out about LeBron James and Kevin Durant having the Lost mixtape released. And the song was It Ain't Easy. September 7th is also Eazy-E's birthday. And supposedly Cardi B and Nicki Minaj got in a fight that day, and I feel like there was one other hip-hop story. But anyway, September 7th can be written 7/9 like 79. Mac Miller's full name, Malcolm James McCormick, 79. Murder, 79. So, I mean, it just makes sense, because he's a white rapper, Mac Miller. Eminem, you know, kind of the white rapper that really... There were white rappers before Eminem. You had Vanilla Ice. You had Eminem even rapped. What's his name? It's funny. Sometimes I wonder about this. I think, God, I can't think of his name. Eminem even raps about stealing this guy's style. Is his name Cage? Is it Cage? I cannot think of that rapper's name. But in Eminem's early albums, he makes a joke about like having killed that guy and stolen his style. He's not nearly as famous as Eminem, but I do want to say his name is Cage. And if you go listen to that rapper, you're like, wow. Does sound like Eminem copied this guy. But, anyway. You just see how perfect the rituals are. And don't forget, before September 7th rolled around, we said, you know, circle that date. That's Celebrity Death Day. There were deaths again this year. It's just, the Mac Miller was bigger news for the death in 2018 than the 2019. But they use these dates repetitively for a reason. That date connects to murder and death. Again, gematria, forwards and backwards. And to bring it back to the Ariana Grande piece, remember from Mac Miller's birthday, January 19th, 119. Did you notice fentanyl was also 119, by the way? Hold on. Fentanyl and John Bryan are 119, just like how Mac Miller's birthday is January 19th. From his birthday to his death was 231 days. Ariana Grande, 231. And part of his death was blamed on the falling out with the relationship of Ariana Grande. So, anyway, there was a ton to it. I did a lot of work on Mac Miller's death last year as well. Unfortunately, that's all been deleted. And let's see. Again, if you want to come search my blog, there's tons of information here if you just want to read the posts and take notes. Grande's got that 113 like overdose. Number of the Scottish Rite. Number of deception is 113 from the Talmud. So anyway, I think we hit the main points here. I always feel bad for the people who leave comments like, this is so dumb. I'm just like, God, people with 20 IQ points think everything is so dumb, and they just don't realize that they need to take a look in the mirror. I mean, yeah, when you got 20 IQ points, you don't understand anything, so... You know, a dumb little mind makes everything just seem so dumb. All the critics who hang around here and troll every video. It's like, who watches all my videos and trolls every video and says how dumb it is? I mean, take a look in the mirror. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure there's a whole lot more to it. I'm not going to listen to the album myself. If you guys want to feed me some information about what's on there, I'll appreciate it. I'm sure there's all sorts of gems on there to take it further, but this can be your head start. Like I always say, there's always more. Speaking of which, I got to get on Patreon. I'm running late. Till next time, true sicker. Oh, before I go, thanks for that super chat. Till next time.